Walmart sells its food as cheap and essential, but those best sellers are not harmless, they're slowly harming you. From hidden chemicals to sketchy recalls, which ones are the worst offenders? Let's find out. Walmart's frozen shrimp. At first glance, the bag looks like a win. The packaging screams premium and responsibly sourced, as if you've outsmarted Whole Foods by paying half the price. But peel back that glossy promise and you find something much uglier. Independent tests showed Walmart shrimp contained nitrofurans and malachite green, chemicals banned in Europe for decades because of cancer risks. That's not exactly the responsible sourcing vibe that they were selling. Even worse, reports from overseas suppliers described workers standing waist-deep in chemical soup for hours on end, developing burns and respiratory issues. Also, you could toss a bag of shrimp in your cart for $10. And let's not forget the wastewater recycling scandal. Shrimp raised in recycled sludge. Delicious. For seniors and anyone with weaker immune systems, those shrimps aren't just sketchy, they're dangerous. If seafood, supposed to be lean and healthy, can be laced with cancer chemicals, what do you think is really hiding in something as simple as cheese? For decades, cheese has been the poster child of comfort food. Melt it, stretch it, slap it on bread, it's happiness in a square. Except Walmart's version isn't cheese at all. Tests revealed it's barely 42% dairy. The rest? Hydrogenated oils, modified starch, and titanium dioxide, a whitening chemical the EU banned years ago because of cancer concerns. Imagine serving grilled cheese and realizing your kids are basically eating plastic with a side of wall patch material. Workers in Wisconsin processing plants told reporters the cheese mass they mixed could be used to patch drywall. Yum! And the human side? Dairy workers described endless shifts, chemical burns, and cows pushed to the point of collapse. So yeah, your budget cheese sandwich comes with a side of misery. But if even cheese is fake, surely beans in a can are safe, right? Well, now you'd think a can of green beans would be safe, right? It's beans in a can. What could go wrong? Well, in early 2025, the USDA linked Walmart's canned beans to botulism outbreaks. Not mild food poisoning, botulism. The type that shuts down your organs. Factories had faulty sterilization equipment that workers were told to override to keep up with holiday demand. Imagine trusting a can of beans only to find out the factory was literally gambling with your family's health. Then, to make things worse, the beans often came from farms where workers were spraying pesticides so toxic they caused fainting and rashes in the fields. So yes, your simple, safe side dish came with a toxic backstory. But if healthy greens are disappointing you, don't worry, the junk food isn't any better, especially those tiny evil nuggets you thought were best for kids. These are supposed to be the easiest ones. Pop them in the oven, feed the kids, move on. But lab tests showed nearly a third of Walmart's nuggets contained salmonella, some strains antibiotic resistant. That means no matter how much you bake them, they are still dangerous. People ended up hospitalized. Behind the scenes, birds were processed while sick, covered in sores, or literally dragged into machines. Workers described losing fingers to unsafe equipment while handling raw poultry. And to top it off, those nuggets contain TBHQ, a preservative banned in Europe. But sure, toss them on a tray and call it dinner. Now imagine, if nuggets are sketchy, you'd hope spinach could save you. But what if I tell you it's exactly the opposite? Get ready to be even more shocked. Spinach was supposed to make the safe choice, the good-for-you leafy greens that make you feel healthy. But Walmart's market-side spinach was linked to a multi-state E. coli outbreak in 2025, killing several. Turns out the fields were irrigated with contaminated runoff from cattle farms. So yeah, those bright green leaves in your fridge were basically watered with bacteria. Even the triple-washed label meant nothing. Independent tests showed higher bacteria counts than competitors. People thought they were doing something good for their bodies, and instead ended up in the hospital. And it turns out leafy greens aren't the only problem. Let's talk about America's favorite protein, which really is poison in the name of protein. Beef is the food that looks best but isn't. Walmart sells it as all-American and quality guaranteed. In 2025, the USDA recalled over 70,000 pounds of it for E. coli contamination. Consumers landed in the hospital with kidney failure after eating burgers that they thought were fine. Reports revealed suppliers were under constant pressure to ship on time, so workers ignored visible fecal contamination on the meat. E. coli recalls are horrifying enough, but that's not the darkest secret in Walmart's beef supply. Lurking inside is pink slime, an ammonia-treated filler banned in many countries but still sold here. Plant workers describe being treated worse than the cows, while customers unknowingly serve this to their families believing it was safe. And after all that meat talk, maybe dessert sounds fun and cool. But what if I tell you it's not really that fun, but only dark? We all know they're desserts, not health food, but Walmart's Great Value brand managed to make even ice cream questionable. Tests found propylene glycol, carrageenan, and polysorbate 80, all linked to gut issues and even fertility risks. And the milk? Supplied from factory farms where cows were injected with growth hormones banned in Canada and Europe. Add in repeated pest infestations at production plants and suddenly your innocent dessert looks like a chemical experiment in a wrapper. And if your sweet tooth isn't safe, wait until you see what is lurking inside your so-called healthy tuna salad. A pantry staple, healthy, full of protein, or so you would think. In 2025, nearly 1 in 4 cans of Walmart's tuna weren't even tuna at all. Many contain cheaper fish like escolar, nicknamed the X-lax fish for its charming digestive effects. Some cans also carried mercury levels double the FDA's safe limit. And if that wasn't enough, the tuna supply chain was tied to forced labor on Thai fishing boats where workers were beaten and trapped at sea for months. Oh, and those dolphin-safe labels? Yeah, audits showed protected species were still being killed. Open a can of Walmart tuna, and you're opening a can of lies. But don't breathe easy yet, because from fish we slide into spreads, and even your peanut butter can turn very toxic. For generations, it's been a safe, affordable comfort food, but in 2025, Walmart recalled its Great Value peanut butter after salmonella was detected. Seniors, kids, entire families ended up hospitalized. The Arkansas plant making it had rodent droppings, leaking roofs, and broken roasting equipment. Workers admitted they only cleaned enough to pass inspections. To make matters worse, peanuts came from poorly stored shipments overseas that carried aflatoxin, a mold linked to cancer. Imagine spreading that on toast for your grandkids. But if you think peanut butter feels risky, brace yourself for the freezer aisle where healthy turns into deadly. The shortcut to eating healthy, right? Wrong. This year, Walmart's frozen mixed vegetables were recalled after testing positive for listeria. Seniors died. Factories had rusty pipes dripping into the food and broken cooling systems that let bacteria thrive. Some vegetables even came from Chinese farms where banned pesticides were sprayed directly on crops. The cheap bag of veggies you thought would save you time could actually send you to the ER. And speaking of vegetables, you'd think cucumbers would be the safest pick in the store. Fresh, simple, just a vegetable in a plastic cup. But the danger doesn't end in the freezer. Even the fresh cucumbers, the snack sold as safe for kids, turned out to be something we never expected. Everyone loves the cucumber slices because you don't have to cut them, but after tests revealed salmonella in them, people were shocked. That is the same bacteria behind countless food poisoning outbreaks, causing stomach cramps, fever, diarrhea, and in severe cases, hospitalization. What made this worse? The product was marketed as an easy snack for kids' lunches, gym bags, or quick office bites. Instead of convenience, buyers got a fast track to foodborne illness. And this wasn't just one store. The recall stretched across multiple states, hitting Walmart customers nationwide. So after hearing all this, will you still trust Walmart with your groceries? Do you think they should even be allowed to sell food after so many recalls and scandals? Don't forget to subscribe for more food industry secrets.